Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Bring me in so you can, sir. Stand. Okay. I got the juice. I'm bringing that in. Charge it.
Am I allowed to also go touch the live at all?
Yeah, please, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. This is good. Yeah. You said yeah. Okay, bring me in. Y'all get chance. They have disabled my comments on Facebook, so I can't see y'all comments. So I know y'all in there, I just can't see it. Heads up, eyes open, the fist clench, y'all. Can't give you the usual opening, usual introduction for Wednesday Freedom Radio, because again, y'all should know this is not Wednesday. Today is November 1st. Again, versus Thuggish Rugged Bone, the first of the month, November 1st, 2024. We usually, those who don't know should know that we usually have a weekly episodes of Freedom Radio, live and direct here, intellectual radio every Wednesday. However, this is what we refer to as a special episode, November 1st. And this, I'll be back and forth if I was going to have this episode or not. We have a few days. November 5th is Tuesday. Be the upcoming election for 2024. So this episode, so if y'all can, text, post, let people know that we are live and direct. Same calling number. Either 929-477-3785. Let me slow down. 929-477-3785 or 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. We're gonna roll this about 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. I guess every election or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And I know something like you hear so much it becomes like redundant. This is the do or die election. You know, people say if you don't get a vote, this is the most important election of your lifetime, this generation. This is people discussing this, on and so forth. And our community in particular, a lot of times it really doesn't hit. In regards to and I'm distinguishing electoral politics. I talked about this briefly this past Wednesday, because some people take this, they say, Jim, you're not really into politics. I said, no, everything is political. In fact, one of the same Minister UP Nunes said that We must even politicize the gun. Fashion, clothes, music, everything is political. The dynamic electoral politics is a different dynamic. And myself, as well as many others, in many cases, we are, I you see, like it's disengaged. It's a disengagement for a number of valid reasons. Because a lot of times we're not, issues that impact our community, saying are not acknowledged, and we're like, we're spoken down, we're spoken to, and it's like, to come out like, a lot of times it's a race and a class arrogance to tell what, that we have this civil duty to come out. And then people say, well, I never seen these different people, talk to us before. Well, all of a sudden now, and then, and and also, when they talk to us, it's not even, you can see that that they are incapable of even, relating to us. So in other words, they'll come through, you know, um, as opposed to other communities, they're talking about different tangible issues that impact, their community, whether it be um, schools, TIFs, tax increment funds, jobs, but that's to the black community in particular. Entertainers are brought in, the gospel music, rap music, what have you, it's brought in, like, to say what, this is how, I know you, and it's insulting. It's, so with this time period right now, and you heard me on different occasions, you was trying like reactionary times and as opposed to revolutionary times. And and I recall some years back when they had the Vote or Die campaign, and people was talking about this from different hip hop artists was pushing the whole line Vote or Die, and our position was that, what are these respective individuals? What is their position in regards to reparations, in regards to political prisoners, in regards to a campaign we've been pushing for quite some time called the AAT bill, the African Anti-Terrorism Bill, the terrorism that we as a people that we're subjected to. And I know that sounds far fetched. People say, well, they're not going to really just. People say, well, they just can't outright say they're addressing black people issues, and what you hear other communities, it's to say that they can acknowledge that. Um, but I want you all, to call in your thoughts where you at the stage of the game. And we're told also, like a lot of times people say, well, why people don't vote, and it really they don't come out and vote. And it's a message sent to us a lot of times. Like even you ride through any respective, colonized community, whether it be south side of Chicago, what have you, and you see the extra presence of police, and it was like a sign to us, like, okay. And people say, why all the police out now? They say, well, it's election time. It's kind of like a message to you, like, go in the house, saying it's hot out here. And even some people have even correlated to today with a lot of the different arrests that's been happening with different, individuals in the hip hop arena. Some people say, well, it's an attack on hip hop or rap, the rap music, whatever, or just even doing, what is the political connection with the timing, with the elections coming up soon. Only you'll know your thoughts, and like just even in this in some cases, many cases, when there's a battle of imperialism. Case examples can be like World War I, World War II, where the Unions and the Confederacy, feudalists, I'll say, Democrats, Republicans. Well, they're engaged in battle. You're able to catch out certain to seize the time and say, okay, why? What's your position about this? How this dynamic impacts our respective community. So with that being said, the indigenous community, native people, native community, they did the Trail of Truth. And they're in DC right now, and people saying, what made Biden, U.S. President Biden, all of a sudden this even acknowledge the indigenous community? And I was talking how they just came through. He's made stops at the Hampton House and other places too, and they talk about issues such as federal recognition for the Mohican tribe, also the case of political prisoner, long-held political prisoner Leonard Peltier. And so just even to seize the time, just to get these matters put forward. And we know definitely the question of the political prisoners is something that that's definitely tied into any agenda with our people. And I overheard a young lady yesterday at the courthouse at the press conference. I don't know if she's a relative or spokesperson, but case with Young Thug in Atlanta, who was subsequently released, and like they said, it was one of the longest, if not the longest trial in the state of Georgia's history. And his father was on there speaking at the end. And actually, you go back in archives, his father's been a guest on Freedom on Radio several times. Yeah, Young Thug's father several times been a guest on here, and he was, you know, what I'm saying, he was talking about the whole the cap he had on. Yeah, I guess the opponent who's running for district attorney in Atlanta, and the young lady said something about, you know, this is something, she said, I haven't heard this. She said they talk about the contradiction within the case, and everyone was talking about this, the blatant contradiction, like some people say it was comical, funny. You had, you know what I'm saying, the YSL, Woody, you know what I'm saying, but people was making jokes about the courtroom dynamics that was happening at the courtroom, but really, it's sad because I mean, it's what they call people are getting what they call football numbers. I mean, serious time and repercussions. You know what I'm saying? And also, even after him, there's other people who still going to court, and even contradiction, like, you know, people who you can clearly see have issues with mental illness, sit on the stand. And you go back through cases in Cook County, Chicago alone, and you go back and say, how is this person being used that, you know, get somebody locked up? These are these are some of the type of contradictions that should be, you know what I'm saying, addressed in a real objective way. Because like we talking about, like with the Black Panther Party platform, one of the demands was a jury of our own peers, and that's something else we talk about in courts. You know, comedic genius Richard Pryor say Black people go down to court looking for justice. All we find is just us, and you know, we make comedy out of certain things. Like I say, but you see these people you see the snippets all on Instagram. People in the courtroom, they ask them questions, they laugh. The judge, even in the previous judge in the case, and the attorney had brought up a contradiction, legal contradiction, say, I forgot this legal term, say, did you have an actual meeting with the prosecutors without our presence there? And the judge in his arrogance said, who told you about that? And the lawyer said, no. That's not the question. Did you have a meeting with this witness, you know what I'm saying, and the prosecutor without our presence there? And so they push, and the judge is like, no, we holding you in contempt because you didn't tell me who told you that. And typical tactic, I tell what the state does, we call it the sidetracking of the slave. With certain people, like when Rodney King was beaten, the narrative came to the point where was he speeding or not? You have people like, you know, Mr. Larry Hoover and other Mr. Malik Ford, the Mumia Abu Jamal, whatever. The sidetracking becomes where are these individuals, are they gang leaders, as opposed to the actual contradiction with the case. So that's what we know is called sidetracking the slave. With that being said, y'all, we're live and direct, y'all. We rolling. So whatever candidates you know, whatever potential candidates you know, I want to encourage them to call in. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting this out there officially. You know what I'm saying? People say, Chair, you know, nobody run for president gonna call in, but whatever is serving the people is serving them history. We put it out there. So you know what I'm saying? Because they say this is so tight. This upcoming election, and this is so tight that minute by minute is ever developing, and they're reaching the different audiences that they wouldn't have reached. So it may get to that point that they might say, hold on, they got to call out to Freedom on Radio. But just for the record, so a lot of people say, they never hear how come they say we don't bring for them what do we want? There's also that's the national election we talk about in regards to U.S. president. However, city of Chicago, there are some new, relatively groundbreaking, and I'm even learning more and more as we go. There are some offices and positions in regards to this dynamic about the school board. So that's something when you're saying the school board. So any candidates running for that, or your thoughts about the school board, and and the role of education. What I'm saying, in our case, in our community's case, not to the miseducation. This system thinks long range, the impact and the policies of it. How they, what communities allocated certain resources, all of that. And what is the school board? What's the representation for it? They say people, millionaires from all over the country are bringing in, funneling money, regardless of the school board. What are some of the main issues? They say all politics is local. The hot topics, the migration issue, of course, the inflation. Something a lot of people not talking about. But this is acts of U.S. international acts of U.S. aggression. There was a time during the '60s when people, there was a conscious level. It was acknowledged what was going on in Vietnam, so on and so forth. So this because people not talking about. I don't think I miss, man. Just today, they say I forget how many launches of fire launches was from Israel on Iran today. And so, because I tell you hear about World War I, World War II, or even what they call a forgotten war during Korea in the 1950s. And I tell people don't talk about it later on, but the acts, U.S. imperialism is like bad luggage. Once it's there, they ain't leaving to places that you heard it was there before, the Philippines, so on and so forth. It's still uprising, still the dynamics in wars and battles going on. So you want to again call in what's people's positions. That's some even an educational process about civic class. What's going on in electoral? How does this impact you? How does how does it trickle down? Because a lot of times people say, well, I'm just gonna live in my bubble. I don't want to know what's going on, so on and so forth. And we feel like we powerless. A lot of times, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the politicians, we'll see them in a parade. They'll come through, just do the Nixon wave at us, wave the hand, and okay, they acknowledge us, but man, as opposed to saying, wait a minute, this is the TIF fund, this is what you have in school, this the curriculum, we like I've told people to say they run for school board, and they asked us, well, do we have actual curriculum that came out of the movie Judas and Black Messiah and Hampton House, and we can text it to you, email it to you. We actually have that curriculum. And we want to know what's their position on that. So our thing a lot of times is not to let them always corner us and say, okay, this not just a guilt trip round on you. What's your position? No, we're going to turn to what's your position on, again, we say African anti-terrorism bill, political prisoners, reparations, split the table. Some people, a lot of times this is like people's company. A lot of times people hit us with a guilt trip. Well, you don't tell your politicians what you want. As elected people who get paid. Serve you. We don't. The Black Panther Party Cubs. We don't even get no stipend to serve people. It's our job as servants of the people to have our ear to the ground and say, wait a minute, there needs to be a community refrigerator by the Hampton House. In the food desert. Wait a minute, we need to add a CCC, the Children Community Cubs. So when you serving the people, it's certain things. So you come in, you say, man, you should. In fact, I just raised criticism when I comrades. I just left the Hampton House just now. And you say, man, what's going on, Charles? You tell me why it's a picture frame of Chairman Fred in front of the Hampton House. The plexiglass is off. I said, man, we need that for 2-3 weeks, man. The rain, everything hit the chairman. He said, oh man, nobody calls. What you mean nobody call you, comrade? I say, this your job. So you pull up that man, the chairman, that should be addressed. It's certain we supposed to know. Come back there, I shouldn't tell you, you see garbage from the Hampton House. That's our job, the refrigerator, clean it out. That's it's certain, They'll come out and say, well, we talk to the people. It's something else that you think we should have in there as servants of the people. So we have to have our ear to the ground. And say, okay, how can we serve you better? So we don't get no stipend for that. So elected officials, these should be people who can relate. I think I study. Your children don't know nothing about. What's the nothing about Malcolm X, what have you, This is what about this thought? This area here, I rolled through here, this area, these vacant lots, So what about this? What are your ideas? How can we assist in making that happen? So that's the deal. So again, y'all come on in and club in with us at 929-477-3785 or 708-223-8953. Got a brother here who I just met. Stopped in now too. And I was said, come on, sit in with us. So let you introduce yourself, brother. And you feel free to tap in. Peace and love, freedom, all to you as well, my sister. Y'all know I was supposed to be in Oakland October 15th. I missed it, but forgive me. Don't charge it to my heart. Yes, indeed. It's Naoki. You're feeling my love. So, brother, again, welcome. Give us
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Yes, sir.
who you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is I have several names. Known as Professor Arthur Amaker, also known as Baba Ade, also known as Baba Maleke. Most times, community people call me Ade. I'm currently teaching African American Studies at several institutions, both on the South and the West sides. I'm also a learning and studying member of the Ifa Orisha Yoruba community in Chicago. So I'm more than overwhelmed and pleased to be here with you today. And to talk about anything you want to talk about. Politics is right up my alley. My father, Norman Amaker, was a law professor, civil rights attorney, worked with Thurgood Marshall and then HP Legal Defense Fund, and became the first Black law professor here in Chicago at Loyola University. So I also come from a legacy of civil rights activism. It's very interesting that right now we're in an interesting time because, as you said, Chairman, we are in a reactionary period. This is not a revolutionary period. And I think it's reflected in this election in the fact that these candidates are tied. If it was a revolutionary period, definitely the left-leaning one would be a wipeout. But obviously it's not. So I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Democratic Party has probably shifted more to the right in recent years and really has taken the Black vote for granted. And like you said before, there needs to be a quid pro quo relationship in our politics. In other words, if we're going to vote for you, what are you going to do for us? What particular program that we have on the plate are you going to support? And I think right now they have yet to really kind of say that. I know Kamala Harris has reached out to Black men in particular, but what I'm seeing so far is kind of a more of an empty rhetoric. Dr. Tia San Johnson, who has a platform on YouTube, talks about the Black male agenda. And I think he's even presented this to the Democrats. However, I think they've been ignoring it.
What is again?
Black male agenda. Dr. Tia San Johnson.
Okay.
He has a podcast on YouTube. You can look him up there. And he's called The Onyx Report. And he talked about the Black male agenda. And it seems as if the Black community in general is being taken for granted by the Democratic Party. The Republican Party also has its issues, of course. Unfortunately, Trump, I believe, has a lot of people around him who can be dangerous, particularly when we talk about the Supreme Court. There was a very strategic move that Trump made when he tried to go ahead and put conservative judges on the Supreme Court, because as you know, those are lifetime appointments. So if you
reiterate that, you want your Supreme Court.
That's it.
You're in there.
So if you stack the Supreme Court with conservative judges, then anything that we're trying to do in terms of progressive policies can be just cut down. Right? Now, one thing that the Biden administration talks about and Kamala Harris do talk about is this idea of reforming the Supreme Court and reforming the term limits, which I think is good. Now, will that pass? I don't know. But there are some things the Democrats are saying what I believe that are good. However, she has undeniably dropped the ball on the border crisis and also on inflation. And those are two things that are hitting Black folks in their pocket, both from competition from overseas as well as this inflation. So that's what a lot of Black men are saying, that, look, is that the best candidate for me to vote for? As you know, throughout history, some of the folks who did not talk about Black folks in the biggest light gave us the most stuff. We talk about LBJ, for example, after Kennedy was assassinated, passed Civil Rights Bill, Voting Rights Act, passed by LBJ, right? Who essentially was on file for using the N-word. Okay? But he passed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, right? Abraham Lincoln, Emancipation Proclamation, which is mostly a political move. It wasn't that he was an abolitionist like that. He was trying to make sure that he added some type of chaos in the southern states. But we got that passed, Emancipation Proclamation. He wasn't known for loving Black folks. Matter of fact, told us that we should be shipped off to Haiti somewhere, shipped off out of the country. He didn't think that Black people could really be integrated into the society. So when you look at things from a political, mathematical
level, it was on his team, I think, the whole proposition in regards to Liberia.
Yeah, exactly,
Mhm,
exactly. So when you look at things from a mathematical level, scientific, right,
mhm.
without the emotionalism,
Yeah,
you'll find that
yes.
sometimes some of the biggest rights that you've gotten from folk who don't look like you or like you in particular, don't even want to live around you.
Yeah,
But it's not about that; it's about respect.
yes.
We use that whole quote from Fences. It says, don't worry about people liking you. Do they respect you?
Yeah,
So I think we need to start being strategic and look at our politics from a power position,
mhm.
right? You don't just get our vote because you throw a rapper in our face.
Yeah,
You don't get our vote because you come to a church.
yeah.
You get our vote because we have this agenda and you support A, B, and C.
Mhm.
If you don't, we'll take it to someone else.
Yeah,
It's business, not personal.
yeah.
It's business, right?
Yes,
So that's what we have to think about.
yes.
From a spiritual standpoint, in E5, we talk a lot about character. And one of the things that we say in traditional Yoruba religion and Yoruba thought is this idea called Iwa.
Mhm.
Iwa is Yoruba for character.
Iwa.
Iwa lesson
Mhm.
means character is what I worship, right?
Mhm.
So this idea of your character basically being the thing that gives you all blessings or takes away from your blessings, right?
Mhm.
When you are not living up to that.
Mhm.
So this is a philosophy of life because Iwa also means existence
Mhm.
in Yoruba,
Okay.
right? So it has two meanings. Of course, it's existence,
Yes,
but also character.
yes.
So ultimately, your whole existence is based on how you behave around people, how you treat yourself, how you treat the environment, etc.
Yes.
So we have to think to ourselves as we are going into the booths, what candidate exhibits the best character that's really going to transform our existence,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Now, both of them don't have perfect character,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Both of them have on record for doing things that I consider to be kind of shady.
yeah.
However, we have to think to ourselves, okay, what candidate really will be able to move my community forward and move my particular agenda items forward,
Mhm.
not just our nation.
Mhm.
Get past this whole generalization.
Yeah.
What do you specifically need in your neighborhood
Mhm.
that you feel this platform gives you?
Mhm.
Is it lower prices? Is it tax breaks? What specifically? Look at your life
Yes.
and particularly analyze what candidate. And if it's not both of them, then vote down ballot.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, the local politicians affect you more than the national. In the larger.
So you say vote down ballot?
Yeah, basically, some people just not gonna vote for president.
Yeah. Mhm.
Vote for local
Yes.
people,
Yes.
right? Which is an option,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in this idea, which is once again a reactionary view,
Mhm.
that you should just vote willy-nilly because if it's anti-revolutionary, it's not. If it's anti-progressive, don't vote for it,
Yeah.
right? We had this whole in the 1970s, the Gary Convention.
Mhm.
We had a lot of people basically forming this black political party, right?
Mhm.
You had Baraka there. You had, of course, Jesse there. You had all these black figures there, right, in Gary, Indiana, because at that time, that was one of the first cities to have a black mayor,
Yes.
right?
Actually.
Yeah, exactly. So it ends up that there was this idea of how can we get the black power concept inside of our politics.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, since the Gary Convention in the 1970s, the black power concept has been more co-opted by reactionary politics.
Mhm.
So now we have black faces in high places, but they're servants of imperialism.
Mhm.
They're servants of corporate interests,
Mhm.
at the federal level as well as the national and local level.
Mhm.
So we have to be very careful with this. And I think that America will start to wake up if we say, look, we're not just going to vote for you because you're black.
Mhm.
Identity politics can take us so far.
Yeah.
Now, identity politics is good to use in the chessboard.
You say identity politics, just for
Identity politics, the idea that you're going to vote for someone who is of your same ethnicity or gender
Mhm.
because you want representation.
Mhm.
That's the very simple definition of it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it is a useful tool
Yes.
in this game of power.
Mhm.
However, it has its limits.
Mhm.
Because oftentimes, if you're voting just based on identity and this kind of idea of I want representation, this feeling,
Yes.
it can be like a Trojan horse where they're playing a game on you.
Yes.
And next thing you know, they got you in the same place you are, except it's blackface, right?
Yes.
So it's neocolonialism,
yes.
as we know, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
we don't want neocolonialism. We want
Yes.
actual progressive politics,
Yes.
right? I mean, you can look at Africa alone, the Caribbean alone, to know that blackface in high places mean nothing, right? So that's something that I don't anticipate that people like your father, my father in the 1960s and 70s were trying to go for. They were trying to really go for a legitimate Black power concept in politics. But unfortunately, the Black power concept has been co-opted by reactionary politics.
Oh, forgive me.
You are now in the host
Okay,
queue.
we're back on. We lost the blog talk, y'all. We still rolling.
Still rolling.
Yes.
So that's my contention with this election. I'm not one to say vote for whoever.
Yes.
I'm at a currently, I'm frankly, quite frankly, in between. I mean, both of them. This is not an exciting time, and I work with kids, and even kids who are 16, 17 years old are not enthused about this election.
Wow. Yeah.
And they, so y'all gonna maybe have a black one. They're like, So that's interesting, right? Because that wasn't like that when Obama was running in 2008. It was a different thing. People were like pumped up.
Yeah.
But people are not pumped up.
Yeah.
And I think what we're dealing with is the post-Obama backlash.
Yeah.
I think a lot of folk were disappointed in the long term.
Yeah.
Although Obama did some good stuff. I'm not going to sit there and just say he didn't do anything good at all. But I think a lot of folk were expecting him to be, once again, this Black power advocate, right?
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, oh, we finally got one of our people in there from the 1970s, that whole, the Black power concept from the Gary Convention. But that wasn't the case. And he point blank said, out of his mouth, I'm politics. I'm not an activist. This is not a place you do activism. You can't be a president and be an activist, right? So even though he came from the activist community as a community organizer,
that's good. That's been debated in certain arenas.
That's debated, right?
Yes.
But too often people will use the activist community for a larger aim that's not revolutionary or Pan-African or any of those things we talk about.
Yeah.
Right. So we really have to look at things. We have to take our power back and say, look, we don't owe you anything. We don't automatically just get my vote. It's not like that. You don't get my vote because you're Black, because you're a woman, because you're gay, because you're straight. It doesn't work like that. This is what it is. We have to make sure that we have an agenda. We got certain points. Are you meeting this? You put the numbers down, point check marks. If you're not meeting A, B, and C, guess what? Yeah. It's like a job interview. Like, you got to hit certain bullet points.
You mentioned certain times and certain concessions were allotted to the Black community during the tenure, for example, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Lincoln. But also, like on the ground level, those time periods, because a lot of times people look at history like in a subjective sort of way, detaching. Like we look at the uprisings that were occurring during the era. This the Black Power movement in the '60s, the climate. I'm pointing this out a lot of times. That dynamic on the ground is an ingredient for the recipe for certain changes, concession to come, but it's taken out. Like even Lincoln, the whole dynamic of people talking about the Civil War. The uprisings and the rebellions that were happening throughout the plantations.
Nat Turner,
Reverend Nat Turner,
all the things that came up before
that helped set that groundswell that sets the atmosphere for for those concessions to be allotted. Because in many cases that's written out of history. Like I was using Ferguson after literally during the uprisings with Mike Brown. And one brother came down there. He was talking. He said, "Well, they should have done this." We were down there. It was still hot. The National Guard was still throwing the tear gas canisters. And the brother said, "Well," he said, "Man," he said to me, "I don't think that these people should have been tearing this up." I asked him, I said, "What got you down here?" I said, "What?" He said, "Well," he said, "I never thought about it that way." What? I seen Dr. King himself said that these riots, whatever issued that term, are the voice of the unheard, and certain discussions happen and certain concessions are given when that groundswell is a different dynamic.
Like George Floyd recently.
Yeah.
The police reform,
Oh, yeah,
the George Floyd Act, right?
Yeah.
So-
That discussion came up. Exactly. The uprising, resistance happening. Because a lot of times we hear about it, we should, we just think. I'm live. I'm live on the air right now. Sis, call in. I'm live on the air. Eddie Levert. Okay, what? Look, look? Oh, brother, respect. Right on. Hey, I look forward to meeting you face to face, brother. Yes, indeed. Give my number. Let's do it. I look forward to it. I want to be involved. Please, give my direct number. Yes. Give my number. I look forward to it, brother. Love and respect. Right on. Y'all love and respect. Right on. Yes, indeed. Hey, listen, y'all know, y'all tune into radio stations. We live and direct on Freedom All Radio.
Tell them to call in.
Hey, call in. Hey, Sadie. Yeah, look at it. Hey, brother, how you feel? Hey, look, y'all call into our radio, so we on the air right now. Call in to Freedom All Radio, man. Hey, you, bro. Yeah, yes. Hey, Sadie, I'm on the air right now to the election. Y'all call in. I'm on Freedom All Radio right now, but let's connect up. I'm all right. We're gonna follow up. All right. Get a phone number. Yup. And look, man, I appreciate you, sis. Make sure you call me. I'm on the radio right now. Y'all can tune in. I gotta follow up with you this evening also. All right. Yeah. I'm on the radio right now. Right now, Intellectual Radio right now. Okay, I got you. We'll follow up. All right, sis. Right on. Free them all. Right on. You never know how it go. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. The Levert. Y'all know before a lot of these youngsters, before y'all times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Eddie Levert. Okay. Yeah. Make sure I said it right because Drew Levert's son. I'm cracking when youngsters don't know. I'm make sure I know what I'm saying. Who I'm talking about. I ain't out the loop around here. Yeah. Y'all still hear us? Oh man, look at here, man. You can't look at who just Lou Nail. Oh man. Lou Nail just tapped in with us. Can you hear me? She said bad connection, my friend. Can you hear me now? I had to click over because Eddie Levert was just calling on the other phone, calling directly. Y'all got Lunel, we love you. I missed you in Chicago when you was in Chicago. Connection better now. Yes. Hey, Lunel, y'all, those who y'all talking some comedy. That's Lunel. Yes. That's the legendary Lunel. She just tapped in. That's a legendary Lunel.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I love her work.
Oh, man. I love this.
Queen's of comedy.
Man. I quote on this joke. She came when she came to Chicago one time. It was a big issue. People had to don't call it Chirac, And I told people, I said, man, I'm good with it. It's a brutal term for a brutal reality. But she said, yeah, somebody, I came here. They said, we don't like this. Don't call it Chirac. She said, have y'all seen the news lately? I love Lunel. Man, yes, indeed. I got to do this. I got to throw this back at her too, because she said one of her biggest regrets. It was last minute call to Judas and Black Messiah. Yeah. I'm pushing. I said, gotta get Lunel involved in this. She was filming something else at the time. We working on another move, and we definitely gotta have her in like a series or something. Yeah. I got utmost respect for her.
Bring out here.
Yeah. We doing it, Lunel. I don't know if it's we talking about this election now. People, a lot of people ain't talking about it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have been talking about it. But
what's your take? What do people saying? Because what I'm gathering is folk aren't enthused about it.
I go with that. They're talking about they're not enthused about it. Right.
Yeah.
That's why we want to do this. That's a good assessment. And because, you know what I'm saying, in many cases, people have not even, it's like not even acknowledged it. But it is acknowledged. Like that's a good assessment. It's not they're not enthused about it. And I don't. I was going to ask too. But like I said, some of these offices, this is new. Like the school board. You know what I'm saying? That's something that a lot of people are talking about. They're talking about it too.
And that's probably more impactful.
More impactful.
Like I said, it's like the local stuff is probably going to hit us more, right?
Do you got your ear to the ground other states? Is there some other local elections that's buzzing now?
I mean, I mostly know what's going on in Illinois. I just know with the whole school board issue, you know what I'm saying, and the controversy with Brandon Johnson and the whole school board, that's very relevant.
Okay.
Particularly since since the last mayor before last closed down schools, and that's a very important thing. But what I'm gathering nationwide is that people are really locking in more to their local politics than their national politics at this point.
Because there must be something. Let's say in Atlanta, I seen a little clip of the in the conclusion of the court case
with Young Thug.
Young Thug's father. Like I said, he came on. His father came on a couple of times, but he made it a point about the district attorney, and he had the cap on, and that's something that and it was equivalent here in Cook County. They have the state's attorney.
Yeah.
So the state's attorney's race here, and in fact, we were expecting Bob Fioretti to call in. You know what I'm saying? We put out the call. Everyone to call in. We expect him to call in, and it's kind of the state's attorney's office in particular in the Cook County is a hell of a history. In fact, in a retirement speech with the present state's attorney, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox. I would recommend people go listen to that speech a few months back. And she even talked about the history of it because they were trying to do this whole thing. There was this narrative to say about the case of Justice Smollett, and she talked about gave a history of the state's attorney in Chicago, in Cook County in particular, in the history of L.V. Hanyahan. You know what I'm saying? That mark in history where he was, and now people know the state's attorney in many cases is a stepping stone to become mayor. That's a powerful position. And that was the poster child and one of the major players that, with the raid and assassination on Chairman Fred and the Fiscal DeMar Clark. In fact, he was set to be, he was Mayor Daley's political water boy. He was set to be the mayor coming after Mayor Daley. But that was the first time, that was in a long time that in response, because Cook County, which up until recently per capita had the most Black people in the county, they had voted a Republican, Ian Kearney. And it really wasn't more pro-Kearney as opposed to pushing state's attorney, what did you mention? Hanyahan. They get rid of him. So the history of Chicago also with the Democratic Party is like a long history. And a lot of people have, and it's like it's kind of moving people. It's a whole discussion. People talking about going red.
Because Daley won, the one who was over Chicago when your father was assassinated. Daley won, who was a Democrat, right?
Daley Senior.
Daley Senior.
Exactly. He was the whole word from the machine. He was accredited
one of the most racist out of the whole.
Excuse me.
Yes. Chicago,
yes. He was also accredited. The Daley Machine was accredited with even getting Kennedy in office. Yeah, because he was known. The machine, how oily, the history of how oily it was. He was able to, like Congressman Dawson. I think Charles Dawson was the first Black congressman who came out, out of Illinois. But Daley, how Machiavellian he worked the machine on. The different, even the religious institution. Dr. King, in fact, when he said he came to Chicago, he said he had never seen nothing like it. So the race dynamic and Mayor Daley Sr. had even worked a number of different preachers to denounce Dr. King when he came to Chicago.
Democrat.
This
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got to analyze the history and see that none of these parties really have had our best interest in mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what happens is, for example, I think about Phil Coran, the Afro Arts Theater. I think about the Black Panther Party in Chicago. I think about a lot of other progressive organizations that were going on in Chicago in the 60s and 70s that Daley Sr. basically infiltrated and basically tried to disrupt. right?
Mhm.
It's the Democrats that were doing this,
Yeah.
right? But people often want to blame Republican. No, it's the same coin, just remixed.
Yeah.
We're not playing politics in an intelligent,
Yeah.
strategic
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't analyze the history. You know, Elijah Muhammad said, "What out of all of our subjects, history is the most valuable for all research."
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Essentially, that's what he's saying.
Mhm,
Elijah Muhammad,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
So we have to start really looking at the history of our politics,
Mhm.
right? Black politics in this
Mhm.
country, right? And see how these folks have been playing games with us.
And also, do we have a force to be reckoned with?
Yes,
Yeah.
but we don't think we are. That's
Right,
right.
right.
We don't think that we're a force. We just allow ourselves to be disrespected,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you know, even and we allow ourselves to put black faces in front of us to kind of maneuver us, y'all Negroes. Says no, we're not going for that, right? It's 2024. We know your history. You know, some of the most racist folk on the planet have been these Democrats, man, or have worked in the name of racism. Daily One was a perfect example of that.
What are one of the things you think attribute to this emotionalism that people say that people come in thinking that this like I mean you look on a international level, like even with like World War I, World War II, different like the Allied forces and Axis force, they don't come into this discussion and like in this elementary or something that we got to like each other, you know what I'm saying? A common interest, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what do you think some of the dynamics that the black community in particular is deprived of to give this inability to be able to scientifically, you know what I'm saying?
You know what?
address
It's our culture. We're not Machiavellian by nature. Let's take it back to European colonization of Africa. Let's take it back all the way to the Portuguese going in and trying to basically trade with African nations.
Please don't down me, Facebook.
I don't think that we really knew or suspected in who we are as a people generally the evil machinations of other folks, right, toward us. I think we are prone to emotionalism. I think that it's a stereotype, but I think it's kind of true, right? I think but it's not because it's like something that's good about us can also be in certain environments a deficit. The fact that we are the most people, the fact that we try to take folks at face value, and we don't see the underhanded long scheme of things, right? Which if you study Machiavelli's The Prince, if you study the 48 Laws of Power, the whole history of Europe in particular, right? Especially European politics is basically that.
Yes.
Now, I'm not romanticizing African politics and saying that there weren't, of course, their own machinations and betrayals as well, right?
Yes.
That's there as well.
Yes.
But I think ultimately our nature is not to do that, right? It's not really about that in that sense, right? We allow ourselves to be easily manipulated, right? And we allow ourselves to be easily manipulated by outside forces that we think are better than us, right? So if this white man comes and tells you, I can offer you A, B, and C, it may be the same thing that a black person we offer to us, because a white man said it automatically feel, oh, that must be better, right? So we allow someone like a Daley Senior or some other politician to come in and try to basically manipulate our good nature, Now, once again, I'm not romanticizing the nature, saying that we're always like this, but I think ultimately we're a people because of where we come from. We believe in communalism. We believe in this idea of trying to get along, and we welcome and like strangers, right? We like foreigners. We like hospitality toward foreigners. This is going on,
which can be a detriment at some time.
Detriment,
yes,
right? And when I look at the history of, for example, African studies as a discipline was primarily established in the 30s and 40s after World War II, when European colonizers were really trying to get a foothold in Africa, right? They'd been there since early as the 1400s, but particularly after World War II, when the kind of borders were kind of being redistributed a little bit after the Second World War, there was this idea of how can we analyze African people to study them to extract resources better and better. And you don't think these people have noticed our nature and have manipulated that nature? They've noticed that we, are people who are friendly towards strangers.
Yes.
We have to We like to, we like shiny things
Yes.
and objects and things that make
Yes.
us feel good.
Yes.
You don't think that they've noticed this and analyzed this behavior.
Yes.
You can go to the 1950s. There was a whole, I think it was a documentary or a commercial about how to sell to the Negro.
Yes.
Right. It was a commercial.
It's on YouTube. I recommend y'all see the
how to sell to the Negro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that shows they've analyzed the psychology of Black folk for a long time, and they're able to manipulate our vote, our our goodwill, all those things. And this happens in politics too. It's, we're in a alien culture that we're not used to necessarily how to maneuver in, and we have to kind of change our minds, unfortunately, to a more Machiavellian type of way to survive. And so, for those who don't know, Niccolo Machiavelli wrote a book called The Prince. He was a prince.
I lost some of y'all on Facebook for a minute. I'm recharging. We still live and direct on Freedom on Radio, on Intellectual Radio, Instagram. Where you at, brother? Are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
On Facebook,
AI Day Amaker is my Facebook tag.
We still rolling. So don't man, y'all fill out, man. Get, on Facebook, get back in with us.
But I was just saying that I think that we're in an environment.
You mentioned Niccolo Machiavelli.
Machiavelli is the Prince. Yeah, that's a book that came out. I think as early as the 12th, the 13th century. I think, right? But Niccolo Machiavelli was a prince in Venice who basically wrote a political treatise on how to be a politician. And it's particularly, if you look at the book, is kind of this idea of how to be cutthroat.
Yes.
How to manipulate.
Yes.
How to be feared but respected.
Yes.
And if you compare that, for example, to our classical political treaties, like the sayings of Ptahhotep from ancient Kemet, right, where it's completely opposite of that particular type of mindset, right?
Yes.
It just shows you that when Europeans began to interact with us, we had to start changing our whole political paradigm and how we move.
Yes.
Right. And I don't think we completely adapt to that.
No.
Right. We're not expecting someone to come to our community to give us these things and then give us those things at a price of taking over our land, taking over our resources. We just think, this person's being nice.
Yes.
But no, actually, there's a hidden hand behind that.
Yes.
And so I think this whole context of politics in this country, we're still trying to engage in such a political game that's not our nature to really engage ourselves in.
Yes,
if that makes sense.
Different culture, and it's a subject matter that we're told like not to even speak about that, like even acknowledge the contradiction. We're told that we're being antagonistic. So we are talking about heightening the contradictions, and other communities to say that there's a difference. Sheikh Anta Diop talked to distinguish. We come. You got to take into account the weather, the condition. Everything.
Theory.
Exactly. We can work in harmony with nature. The different gender, the men and women, so on and so forth. But this, and I say in struggle, we have to be able to do some cold things, but don't want to become a cold people. And there's certain the balance, like Niccolo Machiavelli, who a lot of my generation became familiarized with. Tupac had talked about, but I remember this brother. He had said to me, he said, "Chairman, you always talk about the people." He said, "There's a piece in Niccolo Machiavelli. It says, he who builds on the people builds on the mire, the mud. In other words, you can depend on the people." And I had seen the brother several years later down the road. And I said, "Red, you forgot to read the next page." And he said, "What was that?" I said, "It's for the exception of the prince." And I said, the people will roll with the prince because they see that his weather and storm for them was not a self-interest. But that's something that we point out so many points and just talking like we're sold this, especially during times when there's a battle of imperialism when they're fighting amongst each other. We're sold this blanket assessment that it's time for us to come together, put our differences. We all we all Americans now, but that dynamic of just that culture, like different, is something that we can't. That you take the culture, how you deal with politics, how you say how you do, like even terms. There's the concept of jail, that's foreign to us. There's no concept to us. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's
Traditionally, that's not that wasn't.
that's not
There were no jails.
no
in
jails.
traditional Central African society.
No.
There were other types of punishment.
Yes, yes, and you know what I'm saying. And to be able to distinct, like, you know, we had, like you said, you know, we're not gonna romanticize, but even people say, well, I heard there was slavery in Africa. Nothing, no concept of chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? The gutting of your humanity is a whole. And one of the setbacks with us is that, you know, I was actually debating with a brother the other day. He was saying, I said, we can't fathom. He said, what's it? He said, yes, I can. We can. He said, I can. I said, brother, I said, I say there was a meeting with prison wardens throughout the state of Illinois some years back, I think in the late 80s, early 90s. These prison wardens had got together in Pontiac prison, and they had redesigned the cells of the prison to be shorter than the average man. Then they came out, they put the prison, you had to go on a visit with a black net, like an orange, like you carry oranges in, the net mask over the face, rubber grill over the mouthpiece. I said, brother, I don't know about you. I just can't see us in no meeting. Measuring a cell, thinking long range, how now you're going to see people going to come out, they're not going to be standing up erect no more. The long range, you know what I'm saying? The dynamics, crack, to come out, if it be exposed later, that the more melanin you have in your skin, more easily addictive you have. And then we're sold these reactionary logic that, you know, you just somebody they're a bad person, or you know what I'm saying, as somebody is actually studying, you know what I'm saying, someone said that, you know what I'm saying, so the dynamic, we can't even fathom it, you know. And like you said, when you come in with the politics of your word, how we contracts, how we deal with each other, it's a different dynamic, and there's something, and it's not built for us, you know what I'm saying. And it's we you know, to acknowledge that, you know, and to be able to recognize and struggle, and it's like the movie Body Snatchers, you know what I'm saying? And then like the arm was something that can even take us this even the race question, because there are those who they have they've conquered, and they bred, you know, and they look like us, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like they have in the zoos, it's a policy, culling, call it culling. And actually, ironically, Brookfield Zoo is the place that is really it plays it's real big. I think, in fact, it may have been initiated in Brookfield Zoo, where they have a number for all the different animals, and culling an aggression level, a psychological profile on all animals, and say a silverback gorilla is not docile, it's not palatable, it's not broken. They would, and this silverback gorilla, they have another gorilla, say in London. Though the numbers can have they would breed those gorillas to make sure that the physical features of it, you know, just like a silverback gorilla, but a certain a gorilla would say with a backbone, you know what I'm saying, that has some fight in it, won't be produced. And they go down to do like the wolves, the Mexican wolves, they would take wolves and they would switch take the babies and put them under the more palatable wolves, snatch it from the mother, rub the scent, you know what I'm saying? And so you're producing a certain feature, you know what I'm saying? And they show the wolves are confused, like, this looks like my baby, but this is not the nature. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so as a people, to produce, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is a system that they know, I mean, to breed athletes and, you know what I'm saying, to get entertainers, the dynamic of it, but not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I tell people with the Black Panther Party, they create organizations, you know what I'm saying? They create individuals that say, we want this, but don't want this, you know what I'm saying? And again, we can't even fathom it, you know what I'm saying? And it had to be, and I tell you, you look at different movies, they walk in, and they ask when the police come in the room, they would ask the woman, do you have any children? That's not a question. That's a statement tapping into that maternal, that maternal core, you know what I'm saying, connection, you know what I'm saying? And they exploit these. These are dynamics that we have. But how to, you know what I'm saying, to make anything an antagonistic contradiction. This is as opposed to when she contacted up to where we come from, this system breeds, one comes at the expense of another. You know, if you've been a successful warden, people have to be in prison. In order to be a successful dope dealer, people have to have habits. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even the take stuff because it doesn't create nothing. You know, it takes and exploits. You know what I'm saying? And it corrupts. It's like the coca leaf in Afghanistan, which is something natural. You can see people walking there and with the plants, they chewing a coca leaf. Their system to take it and put the chemicals on it, you know what I'm saying? To with the crack, to take any different natural organization. You know, so the street, what they don't know. You got these youngsters talking about hollering gang, but it takes something that's natural, is tribes and organization to take that dynamic and corrupt it in any arena. You know, the old saying go, whenever black folks roll 2 nickels together and make a dime, white folks make it a crime. Any phenomenon, and what is something we always miss, any that we negate, and that's an attack on us. You know, we say, well, we just come together, we stick together. We done done this in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We done done this, you know, sticking together. You know, we was in Africa sticking together. But this, as soon as they see it, it needs that. You know what I'm saying? It has to conquer us. You know what I'm saying? To kill us one way or another, physically. You know what I'm saying? To take that self-determination away from us, and you know, and like I said, we don't even fathom that. We come in.
See, this is why what's get history so important, because we've been analyzed by Europeans from as early as the 15th century with the whole age of exploration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the Portuguese started to come into West Africa, going down to Mauritania, to the Bay of Benin, they were analyzing and taking note on us even before the transatlantic slave trade importing us over there. They were kind of observing, right? Now you go in the plantation and they start really observing our behavior and experimenting, right? So a lot of you talk about this idea, we talk about the gorillas and how they were doing things in the zoo. I mean, you know, that's the same things they were doing to us in these plantations. I was just watching a documentary that for generations, they wouldn't send actual doctors to plantations to treat the slaves. They would send veterinarians.
Yes. You see, Goodbye Uncle Tom?
Yeah.
Recommend everyone, please.
People, they were like, you know, people that you would send for dogs and horses, they were sending on us. Right? So there's always been this manipulation of Black people as if we're like animals that should be genetically modified. You see that also now they're genetically modifying our food. Right?
This
has been in their minds for generations. They've been studying us. Like I told you before, I'm in Africana studies, but you know, African studies in particular, you know, the order that is white people who basically trying to better colonize and understand the Negro. Even the religion that we practice, Ifa, which is from the Yoruba people of southwestern Nigeria, you know, some of the first people to write about it and the first people to really analyze it were Europeans trying to study, you know, what is this about voodoo? What is this about Ifa? What is this about these different African religions? What is this about the Dogon of Mali, and how are they able to track Sirius B without using a microscope? You know, how are they able to find out these things about the creation of the universe that is so accurate? Right, without a microscope, right? They're just analyzing and continue analyzing to this day, but analyzing us for manipulation. For better manipulation, for better strategic pushing us out gradually. So this is what I'm saying. We have to be very conscious, once again, back to our politics. There's a game behind the game. And we have to be aware of it. And they will put people who look like you and I in front of us, right? To continue this mechanization of manipulation and modifying, because someone like Obama or Harris says, okay, eat this product, you know, but they're getting backed by some of these companies who are doing this GMO, genetically modified stuff, right? But they're getting paid by them, you know, but yet they're Black. They'll say eat it, and we're going to sit there and eat it. Oh, yeah, because we're emotional. Oh, yeah, we eat it. Because once again, like I said before, what's good about us is also not good about us. Right? So we have to, I think we're at a time where we're starting to wake up. I think young people in particular, those who are below Generation X, are starting to really see the game for what it is. And that's why I think that a lot of these young people I'm seeing are not enthused about what's going on right now with politics. They're like, man, you know, I'm not feeling that to speak. You know what I'm saying? You know? So we gotta wake up. We gotta be conscious. We have to read Diop. We gotta read Urugu, Marimba Ani. Right? We gotta really look at what this is. We have to look at, we don't know enough about who we are or who we've been as a people, and our mentality and our nature, which remember Ani calls the Asili in her book Yurugu, right?
Okay.
Which is a very popular book in the 1990s. And basically it's the book Yurugu by Marimba Ani is a book that basically talks about a critique of European cultural thought and behavior from an African-centered perspective. Dr. Marimba Ani, also known as Donna Richards, she worked with student nonviolent coordinating committee in the South. She also was able to get a PhD in anthropology, University of Chicago. And getting a PhD at University of Chicago, she began to realize the white supremacy.
I'm sure she did.
By the University of Chicago, right?
University of Chicago.
And that really inspired her to say, look, I need to kind of look at what I've been learning and critique it from an African-centered perspective.
They got a history treating us like lab rats up in there.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, a lot of what we're talking about comes out of University of Chicago.
Yes,
Right? Comes out of academia.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
Woodlawn experiment.
Even Black Studies departments right now, like, the whole purpose of Black Studies from the 1960s perspective, right?
Yes.
Was to kind of put this kind of revolutionary fervor in the mass of people and to have them know about their history and their culture. But these major universities have co-opted it.
Yes.
Right? And they've taken it, they watered it down.
Yes.
And they're really using it to kind of study Negroes.
Yes. Yes.
To get us to do certain things, right?
Yes.
And they even put these prominent Black scholars, to come in front of us. But they're really trying to manipulate us as well, right?
Train you to make,
all this. So a lot of what happens in this country, the masses, the grassroots created, and then the powers that be manipulated.
No doubt.
For their own Machiavellian or Uruguayan, you call it, interests. Which to continue our destruction, because it's all part of the Ma'afa. Ma'afa is a key Swahili word that means destruction.
Yes.
That Dr.
The Holocaust.
That Dr. Marimba Ani came up with. The scholar I'm talking about who wrote Urugu.
You mentioned the youth, the youngsters, the 15, 16 years, how they're not just, they're not sipping the snake oil. You just can't sell them anything. And one dynamic, I'm saying is a necessary ingredient with that, even if it's in most cases it's in a reactionary way, but that's something that should be noted, that because a lot of times what's sold to us is they place a generation over you and say, well, just follow this lead, don't challenge, don't question mama or daddy, don't question, go along. This is sold to you. And I mentioned before that was how we look at it good. Here we go, yeah, we're good. Okay, that was when I talk about like during the 60s, you had a generation, and this is like even I'm kind of hesitant. I'll be hesitant about using the term the great migration, because sometimes it kind of just say we just decided to come up north, negating a lot of our uncles and mothers, aunties, and land was stole, raped for it, like leave them down south too, And but so people really wasn't settled up north, and so you had a generation coming up, saying, man, we love you, mom and daddy, but we know what that white Jesus on the wall, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that's because we're sold a thing like, don't challenge, don't you know what I'm saying, don't disagree, And but you said, like right now, these youngsters, they're not going for it, and it's prime time because their pores are open also, you know what I'm saying, because it's pros and cons there, because it can be reactionary, what you say like that too, but to say no, this is this could be against this structure, don't mean that we just want for no structure, you know what I'm saying? We need a position. I tell people we had a people's convention we convened this past December. I said, well, y'all get tired of running around with the donkey and the elephant. Come on, see what the Black Panther talking about. You know what I'm saying? And it's prime time. Like I said, the arm us with a politic. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we're told that we don't got nothing. In other communities, you know what I'm saying? We have a history. You know what I'm saying? And we got, a lot of times we like the last call for alcohol. I've seen all these different, saying they tried this, tried that. And respectfully to say, to your parents, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I love you, like, man, This is you just can't pass this down to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going along. You know what I'm saying? That's how they kept a lot of plantations in place also. You know, and be I tell you, this is Harriet Tubman. She, you know, she that's what's strong about her husband and made her move and come on back. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can't, you know, and that's even it was Civil War. They say it was, you know, biological brother challenging his biological brother. They be able to combat their liberalism. To say, you know, say, hey, hold on, this is, man, it was a time Malcolm X gave the knowledge. I think it was a 14, 15-year-old in China, 14, 15-year-old young lady in China, young girl. She had a 45 to her father's head. He said, why are you doing that? She said, he betrayed the revolution. And that change, you know what I'm saying? That's a hard discussion to have. You know, that's a hard discussion to have, to be able to come to grips with that, because again, they're passed down this. They're how you run a plantation. You know, they come and break one generation. Say, okay, well, you know it. In prisons, they would open up a new prison. They would bring some of the individuals that worked through their program. They would get people who were documented rapists, documented cooperators. Put them in there. I watched this. They open up a new prison, have them there, and the youngsters were going, and they would start. They don't read no orientation manual. They would pick up. This their first time. You know, they would start doing certain activities. Whoa, bro, where you get that from? Oh, I seen such. I said, no, that ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? That's how this. You know, how they break generations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to be able to challenge to be able to challenge that. You know, sometimes it can be respectfully. I say, and I had a discussion recently. Young brothers called me, said, man, he said, I know you be going through a lot of struggles, different people trying to hijack the legacy of the Black Panther Party, so on and so forth. He said, man, don't let them elders saturate. He said, you hold the path. I said, brother, it's not just no elders. I say, it's some youngsters. I say, these contradictions that transcends generations. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be hiding those contradictions, like, you know what I'm saying? Because there are some casualties of us, so that's what we romanticize it. You know, I say we have casualties too. You know what I'm saying? We have to be clear of that. And there's, you know, I got family members. You know, I tell you, the movie Godfather get Fredos. I get Uncle Fredos. You know what I'm saying? Betrayal, real talk. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be clear on that. You know, that's something a lot of us we want to pick and choose. I say, no, man, it's fertilizer, but there's some shit out here too now. Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that we live in a day and age. Well, it's been like this since the dawn of time, but sometimes you can't trust your family members.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I mean, you think people who, you know, will have your same blood, or folks automatically are loyal to you, and it's not always like that. Yeah, sometimes you can't.
We got so good back. Yeah.
No, sometimes you just can't trust your family members. I mean, you would think that people who have your same blood automatically have your back. But sometimes your own biological children, or your own biological mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, they be the main ones to say you out.
That's a difficult discussion.
And that's difficult, but that's been going on since the dawn of time. That's not anything that's new, right?
Yes.
That was going on in Africa, going on in Asia, all over, right? So, you know, when we talk about these things, I don't want us to think that we come from a culture that's always been perfect. Because if it was perfect, the slave trade wouldn't be able to happen. Right, because at the end of the day, you know, African chiefs were manipulated into that. You know what I'm saying? But there are certain essentials to being an African.
Yes.
And focus on family and community is number one.
Yes.
Right. If you look at, there are certain trends throughout the African continent and the African diaspora that are consistent.
I got to jump in, bro.
Fictive kinship. Like for example, you know, I can see you my brother. You may not be my biological brother, but you my brother, right?
Yes.
Well, this is my son. It's fictive kinship that goes back, that we always have had. You know what I'm saying? And also this idea that spirit is important. We're spiritual people.
Yes.
I think you had mentioned that one of the mistakes the Black Panther Party made. I think was Delane Brown or Catherine Cleaver said that, you know, we should have been focused on the spirituality. That we focus so much on the Marxist idea of, you know, this scientific materialism, and we didn't get into the fact that, you know, we're spiritual people, and Black folk like that. You know what I'm saying? You need to kind of hit that part of them, right? If you're trying to move the people.
Now, here's my take on that. Two things. I'm glad. 2 points you did. I'm glad. One, I had a dialogue one the other day, and I was saying, we are told that we're not, we're not a monotonous people. I'm saying right, monotonous, like one monopoly. What is the word I'm looking for? What is it? When
That-
the,
that
the,
was, monolith.
monolithic people. I agree with that. I say, however, there are certain constants with the black community because this vagueness people try to play on us all the time. I said, no, don't y'all see that there are certain things that in the Irish community or the Mexicano community. There are certain things that are consistent with the black community, and I'm with you too on the second point. I think also that a lot of because I was speaking one time, and a brother before he introduced me, he said, I know he's listening too. He said, I know the chairman don't believe, chairman not very religious, and he don't, when I spoke, I said, oh, let me be very clear. I say, it's things that when I was, particularly when I was locked up, I cannot scientifically explain. And man, I be praying on the battlefield when I'm out there getting down. And I think a lot of times that, like even with the dynamic of culture, people there's a misnomer with revolutionary, something that's not acknowledged. But one brother in my defense, he said in prison, he said, "No, chairman brings a football to a football field." You know what I'm saying? And so and also there was some people that their contradictions early on before even become in the becoming in the Black Panther Party or any revolutionary organization, it heightened to the point, but it was there all the time. You know, so those, like I said, you got to keep him like the. I have some forces to, you know what I'm saying, that brought we all come on our baggage, and sometimes some things are taken as a party line, which is individual. You know what I'm saying? The structure is able to, like, some is magnified. Some forces issues say, some I tell you, I don't take for granted all women, black women, have seen a black man, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? All they may see some. Some of my reactionary forces who they make a joke when they debate with each other one day. He said, man, you don't respect black women. And he said, what you mean? He said, I got 8 kids. The other guy said, I know all their mothers. You really ain't never had no black woman. You know what I'm saying? And with the price, when you heighten the contradictions, a lot of times movements are getting it's magnificent. So that's not the party line. That's their individual. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to say, you know, so I think a lot of times I know when we be organizing people, a lot of people don't think that, you know, so they say, damn, Chad, I didn't know. We just came back with the Dakotas, and the indigenous community, and when the natives have said to me, said, Chad, what do you be saying? You say before you eat, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and I was an African pledge. I see, you know what I'm saying, for I move, I'm very spiritual, and but the deal is something that like a lot of people they can't hear it either though. You know what I'm saying? It can be right there. It can be premature. They go back like it, like in the music industry. It's people who've been saying. It's a brother out of Chicago. He does security for years. He's been talking about different contradictions in the music industry, but now people can hear it. You know what I'm saying? And people say, "Why nobody never talked about this, so on and so forth?" And you say, "No," and like the writing was on the wall. You know what I'm saying? But the time and all it has to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some. Like Pac was saying, and you can see him like fighting to articulate certain things, you know what I'm saying? But the people say, well, no, he didn't say that. He said, no, because like that movie, A Few Good Men, said, can't handle the truth. So a lot of times people, because it's not said to them, I recall growing up, people say, man, you know, so you like a Muslim? You feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And there's no style in Islam, but they couldn't even fathom. You know what I'm saying? Because the context was given to them. This is this. In fact, I'm gonna close out in a minute. We're gonna close out. We said it's a series, OGs, Original Gentlemen. And first doing the commercial, me and the brother was laughing because he said, I said, no, it's a phenomenal piece. I recommend everybody check it out. But you got people from all different walks of life. You got Minister Rico, you got Bishop Don Juan, you got OG Swan, you got different, all, you know what I'm saying? But Chairman Fred is a revolutionary. A lot of people want, they were like, okay, what is it? The sister from Haiti said to me one time, she said, I don't really get you. She said, you read books, but then I see you, you know what I'm saying, you on the street, you can deal with different cats. What are you, a political thug? You know, she you know what I'm saying? And so it's certain things, and now she lived back in Russia, she said, now I can see that. So a lot of things that the climate, people, it wasn't conducive, You know what I'm saying? They couldn't because certain conventional definitions were given.
Yeah.
This is what it is. That's what even changed. That's what we got a climate. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't like come up out of the stereotypes. So this is a man, this is a woman. Even to love our people. People, some people get that twisted. Like, oh, you're a pushover. So don't get it twisted now. You know what I'm saying? You know, CeeLo Green he had a joke one time. He say they be after the concert they be talking and he talking to some sister. They didn't even hang out. She said, "Oh, you are so deep, brother." And he said, "No, I still was trying to talk to you." Or something. But what the mindset was, there was no frame of reference of like a brain and a brawn. The brain is opposed to brawn, and that like even like the spirituality. It's, you know what I'm saying. A lot of times it's there. You know what I'm saying? But people don't. It's not given to it in the conventional definition.
Here's the thing. Traditionally, we as African people, and let me talk about the context of Ifa and Yoruba.
Please.
It's like spirituality is everything that you are. You know, it's something that you incorporate in your whole life, in your whole culture. It's how you name yourself, what your name means, how you walk, how you talk, how you create clothes, how you create fabric, your language,
yes,
right? What you eat, what you don't eat. See, but what happens is with Islam and Christianity in particular, the mindset shifts from the African perspective of like this indigenous approach to religion, where it's everything that you do, and it's just separated as something that's only done here at this place, or done at this time of day, or done over there. It's not a lifestyle. It's not exactly. It doesn't determine, you know, necessarily, you know, how you dress and other type of things. So ultimately, you know, your spirituality shows in how you interact in nature and existence, how you interact with people, right? That's what shows your true spirituality, not necessarily where you worship at, because as we say in Ifa, you know, character is worship, right? Iwa lesson, right? So how you interact with people daily is spiritual. Some of the most spiritual people I've ever met in my life, folks who never went to church one day. You know what I'm saying? Some of those moral people, you know, they never went to a mosque, they went to a church, you know, but their whole energy exude that. And that is very African. That's our culture. And that's consistent throughout traditional indigenous cultures in Africa, Native America, Asia, right? And right now we're entering an age what some astrologers call the age of Aquarius. We're moving back into indigenous religions, indigenous nature-based religions, right? So this is why I think you're seeing a lot of folk now who are leaving church and leaving the mosque, and they're trying to really research and search for what were my ancestors doing? You know what I'm saying? I think these answers are being found in these nature-based religions, you know, like Ifa, like traditional Native American cultures, traditional Asian cultures, because those are spiritual practices that incorporate every aspect of your life. Right, on all aspects, how you speak, what you say, what you don't say, you know, your whole character trait, all that is part of the spiritual.
Unfortunately, we gonna club out, y'all. This is a special episode. We want to thank Intellectual Radio. If y'all check back, brother. You got to come back with us.
I appreciate
this.
Yes,
we
sir.
Appreciate you. This has been informative. Hey, yes, indeed. So y'all tap back in with us, y'all. We definitely gonna look forward to this Wednesday because that's gonna be after Tuesday. So. We I'm expecting some.
Can I leave my contact information?
Please, bro.
So if folks want to reach out to me, they can email me at ADEART, the number 7 at hotmail.com. ADEART, number 7 at hotmail.com. You can also check me out on Facebook. My full name is Arthur Ade Amaker, but I go on Facebook Ade Amaker. So A first initial and ADE. AMAKER. Reach out to me on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm an Amaker Consulting as well. So I'm available for any future talks or things that we deal with African spirituality, that deal with politics and consulting. I'm an educational consultant and professor by trade. That's my day job.
Man, brother, we're gonna be doing some work with you, brother. Real talk. We're looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Y'all keep your heads up, eyes open, the fists clenched, y'all. The spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all.
Yes, sir. Free them all.
Free them all. Yes, indeed.